Delanco Township Committee meeting of January 27, 2025, beginning at 7 p.m. at the Delanco Township Municipal Building, 770 Coopertown Road, Delanco, New Jersey.
Yeah. The president? Really? Okay. How's she doing? Okay.
Yeah, I thought you may want to.
What happened?
Her life.
Thank you very much. Did she go to the doctors or she can go? Okay.
Uh-oh.
Everyone at home will just turn their head sideways.
You got it?
Love technology. There we go. What about it? What about it?
I just wanted, that's what my email was about.
So you can stick with the right.
Yeah. But do we have 10 days now?
It's not 10 days.
7 days?
No, 10 days is for abandoned vehicles.
Yeah.
After the 10th day is considered abandoned. When we sticker, we give them 7.
And
7.
Mayor, we are recording.
Great, thanks. Good evening. Welcome to January 27th, 2025's Township Committee meeting. 7 o'clock, it's 7:02. We are here at the Municipal Building, 770 Coopertown Road. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bartlett.
Here.
Ms. Fitzpatrick.
Here.
Mr. McFadden.
Here.
Mr. Olet.
Here.
Ms. Seuss.
Here. Also present, Mr. Schwab, our Township Administrator, and Mrs. Russell, our Deputy Municipal Clerk, and Mr. Warren, our Acting Police Chief. Flag salute, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sunshine statement, please.
Please be advised the proper notice of this meeting has been given in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act in the following manner. Written notice has been mailed to the Burlington County Times and Courier Post and published in the December 30th, 2024 editions. Written notice has been posted on the official bulletin board of the Township of Delanco at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. Live stream statement. This meeting of the Delanco Township Committee may be transmitted via live stream on YouTube video. The streaming of the meeting is not intended to be relied upon as formal public access under Open Public Meetings Act. And if the technology is disrupted for any reason, the township meeting will proceed in person as an official meeting in accord with the official notice.
Thank you. The meeting is now open to the public for comments and questions. This is session 1. If you would like to make a comment or have a question, please come up to the podium and state your name and address. Meeting is open to the public. Anyone?
Yeah, I guess I do. Mary Ellen Davison, 216 Center Avenue. I'm interested in what's going on with the 401 Creek Road proposition, where that stands at this point in time.
There hasn't been any change since the last meeting.
Nothing's moved forward?
It's, they were sent the agreement of sale, and we're waiting to have that executed.
I'm sorry, they did what with it?
The agreement of sale was sent to the Criterion Group, and we're waiting to get that back to have that executed and signed by them.
Okay, so we're waiting for them to say, yes, they'll sell it to us, and...
Well, they have said that. We're just waiting for them to sign off on the document.
Okay,
Yes.
paperwork then. All right,
Yes.
so we're moving forward slowly then, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Anyone else? Meeting is closed to the public. Comments and questions, comments and reports. Mr. Schwab, Township Administrator.
Thank you. Tomorrow we have our first 2025 budget meeting at 3:30. Tomorrow afternoon, I'll have a lot more information for you at the time. The other thing I want to mention, you have in your agenda the resolution to purchase the gazebo for the waterfront park. And I just want to clarify some of the language. We'll clarify it for the record that the purchase is being done through the ESCCJ Cooperative Purchasing Group, not through the state contract. The resolution is a standard resolution that says you can buy through either the state cooperative or through one of these cooperative groups. And then the second paragraph should have said, and we're going to use cooperative group. The resolution itself, the authorization, though, references their contract. So, and we've had this run past our qualified purchasing agent, and she's approved that we're part of it, and this is legitimate and how it's going to be handled. So we'll be making some minor wording changes in that resolution after the fact. Just didn't have a chance to get ready for tonight.
Like you were on vacation or something.
And well, I heard that.
Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Schwab?
That's all I have for this point in time.
Okay, comments, department heads. Mr. Warren.
Good evening, everyone. As of this date, the department has a total of 14 cases were open. There were 70 motor vehicle summonses issued with 126 motor vehicle stops, and there were 736 calls for service. I mentioned at the last meeting, we're in the process of interviewing a background investigation for 2 prospective hires. I was told by our detective that we should be complete the background investigations by the end of the week. Then we'll move forward with the interviews and depending on how they go, hopefully with conditional offers of employment. So looking pretty good. They're looking well. So
Excellent.
that's it.
Thank you. Comments, Township Committee. We'll start with Mr. Olet.
Okay. Month's been pretty busy so far, mainly with a lot of reorganizations with different groups. We'll start with Delanco Library. They've got a lot going on the reorg for the library. Maureen Barrett's the president. Vice president is Linda Wee. Treasurer Tom Lord. Secretary Christine Holland. And then some of the upcoming events for the library, February 1st in Bose, Tin Hanging Craft. And that's for ages 14 and up. Registration's required and free program. A lot of these things are on the library website, www.delancolibrary.org. Let's see, you've got February 6th and 20th, Fiber Arts Get Together. Oh, here's a good one. On Fridays, February 7th, 14th, 21st, and 28th, story time, 11 o'clock for pre-K 4, and registration is required. Let's see, what else they had. February 14th and 15th, Cooking Up Romance book sale. And Tuesday, February 18th, they hold their book discussion group. And the only other thing that's I think is a popular item is March 22nd annual spring tea at 11 o'clock. And tickets are $25. Again, that's advanced registration. So if you go to the library website, you'll be able to get some more details. And again, for everyone, our Delanco Public Library is a member of the Burlington County Library System. So if we don't have the books at our library, we can reach out to, or the library staff can get them from the county library or any of the other member libraries. Let's see, GIFT, we had a reorganization, that's our GIFT insurance, and we had that last week. And let's see, the new chair is Richard Wolbert from Beverly City, and I won't go through all the folks, but on the executive committee, Aaron Provenzano here, one of our employees, is on the executive board. She's been on the board, or she got appointed last year to the executive board, but has been our representative with the GIF for many years, and she does a great job there. Let's see, and then as far as we elected officials, we have elected officials risk management seminar for 2025, and where we get where we may qualify for a $250 credit in our local unit of 2025 assessment. So we can get a credit. And if you need the information, any of the township committee members, I can get that to you if you haven't already received it.
So it's an online class that we take, and then each of us gets a $250 credit towards our premium. Each person.
Each person,
Yep.
correct,
Yeah.
yep. And
I did mine.
it's only about 35 minutes.
Yeah, I did it. It was,
Oh,
it
there's
was,
another one too, the cyber one.
Yeah.
That's an hour.
yeah, cyber one was an hour, yeah.
Then the history board, again, we had our reorg on January the 8th, and our new chairperson is John Nardone. I'm the vice chair. Peter Fritz is the secretary, and Ron Naylor is our treasurer. We also got our 2025 CHPP grant from the county for $5,200, and we were awarded that for this year's projects, and we're putting $4,000 of that dollars to the preservation of the 1856 Wilmerton map of Delanco. We have the map over at a group over in Philadelphia who's taking care of the project for us. And then we have $1,200 of that grant we're putting to the production and printing of the Delanco Riverfront tour booklets. And hopefully we'll have that to, I guess, go along with the opening of the park, the historical park out on Delaware Avenue out front of the Zurbrück Mansion. Let's see. And our open house here on February the 15th on Saturday from 1 to 3. Mr. John Burke has coins from colonial and revolutionary times. Let's see, and the next meeting for the history board is on February the 5th at the Zurbrück Mansion at 7 o'clock. All are welcome. Going on to the Burlington County Commissioners, their reorg was on January the 7th, and the new member of the County Commissioners is Tyrell Burrell. He's from Delran, and Felicia Hopkinson, who has been on one of the commissioners, was reelected. So they were sworn in. Felicia Hopkinson is also the chairperson this year for the commissioners. And deputy director is Allison Eckel. Let's see, moving on. They had a special meeting. We had all our issues with the election, and they had a special meeting on January 15th at 9 o'clock in the morning. And they authorized, the commissioners authorized to award a contract for the request for proposals for an independent special counsel for review and analysis of the 2024 general election. And that went to Connell Foley LLP. So they've got that in the works. And then back in December, the county purchased the abandoned RCBC permanent campus. And let's see, they paid $1 million for about 225 acres in the buildings. But it's going to cost about $4 million to tear down the buildings out there and clean things up. And that money's coming out of the American Rescue Plan money, is what they're going to use to take care of the issues out there. They didn't go into any discussion as far as what the plans are, whether it's going to be open space or housing, but that's what they're in the works of doing. And let's see, this past Saturday, Burlington County Commissioner Balvier Singh was appointed to take Herb Conway's seat in the New Jersey Assembly. So he'll have that seat, I guess, for the balance of this year. He has to give up his commissioner's seat, and then that'll be appointed. That seat will be appointed sometime in the near future. They also, Mr. Singh, even though he's appointed for the balance of this year, he'll still have to run in the primaries with everyone else to, if he's going to take the seat. It's my understanding that all assembly seats are up at the end of this year, and so everyone has to run for election for their seats again. And I believe that's all I have for now. Oh, wait a minute, no, I'm sorry. I did have one other thing I thought. Oh, yeah. The New Jersey State Planning is underway, where they've taken the map and they working on the plan for the state. And that started, I guess, back in December. And I was in on a meeting this month for that. And Burlington County, their portion of the state plan, they have their kickoff Friday, the 31st. So I'll be involved in that and get started. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Now, is that planning what we did a couple years ago and we opted out of?
We opted out of it, but everyone else is in on it. I was curious to what was going on and started listening in on their meetings. And I don't think I have a voice for Delanco there, but I'd still like to be able to bring back to our township, because everything else that's going around us or on around us is going to affect us in one way or another. So I just want to be informed and be able to share whatever I come back with. If there's anyone on the Joint Land Use Board who might be interested, probably Michelle Taylor as our planner may be involved in that, but maybe a member of the Joint Land Use Board might want to get in on the meetings and just listen, just be able, so that we're informed.
Great, no, that's a good idea.
And we opted out of that because everything from the public sessions where the members of the public came to give their input, they summarily ignored.
Correct.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and everything costs money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
like we're doing the state's work. I think that's really why we opted out, was because the items that we had to complete were items that we as a member of the township committee aren't qualified to do. We would have to hire people to do them. So it was really, it was just ridiculous that the state would require municipalities to go to those extremes to fulfill their plan.
Right.
It's their plan, not ours.
It's supposed to be our plan
Yeah,
going up, but
Right.
it's their plan
Yeah.
coming down.
Mhm.
So,
but that's good that you're keeping the ears open for us, Fern. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, thank you, Fern. Mr. McFadden?
All right, I didn't attend too many meetings. I did attend the court here on January 15th with committee member Fern. It was a eye-opener, the amount of traveling between the court administrator back and forth. But it does show that our police department is doing a great job. I was able to attend the Rutgers Powers and Duties of the Elected Officials. I completed that program. And I also was able to attend the New Jersey what is that?
Can't raise your hand right.
NJLM for newly
Jersey
elected.
League of Municipalities.
There you go.
Municipalities, there you go.
You're right as good as Richard.
Yeah.
Like a serial killer.
I did attend that on Saturday in Mount Laurel, and that's it for me.
How about recreation? Did you attend recreation's meeting?
I'm not the liaison.
Oh, okay.
I am
I'm just
not
kidding,
the
Kate, relax.
liaison.
She's gonna jump out of her chair over there.
No, he's listed in my report.
Go ahead, Pat, you're next.
All right. I attended the fire department meeting for, December, because tonight's meeting is tonight for January. The officers for 2025, Chief is Scott Hamlin, Deputy Chief Lester Abrams, Captain Nick Hubler, Lieutenants Joe Fox, Christian Cave, and myself as the Fire Police Lieutenant. The Executive Board President is Bill Trimble, Vice President Eric Zuber, Treasurer Terry Hamlin, and Secretary myself. And the Board of Fire Commissioners meeting I attended as well the next night, and tomorrow night is this month's. The Chairman of the Board of Fire Commissioners is John Zuber, and you have Gary Stahl, Lisa Trimble, Chris Cave, and Terry Hamlin rounding out the remainder of the commissioners. I attended the Board of Ed meeting last week. They had their reorganization the same night as ours, or same night our Township Committee meeting was going to be. But their president for this year is Eric Mossop, Vice President is Ryan Varga,
And rounding out the remainder of the Board of Ed members, Ms. Joanne Schlinline, Josh Sellert, Steve Jass, Kay Lugo, and Mason Hopkins. And there is one or two more seats still open?
Probably just one.
I've lost count. But
Just one.
So their meeting was last Wednesday, and we brought up the library contract at the meeting last week. We did receive the draft of the red lines over the weekend, which we are currently reviewing. And my report's short and sweet this month. That's all I got.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Fitzpatrick.
Thank you. I attended the Eagle Scout project with the installation of the new flagpole at Gateway Park on January 4th. It was an extremely cold morning. Joanne was there as well. But Lucas Russell and his team of volunteers managed to get the pole up. The ceremony raising the flag for January 19th has been canceled due to weather conditions, but it will be rescheduled. The Recreation Commission held their reorganization meeting on January 9th. The positions for the new year are as follows: Chairperson Al Gravo, Vice Chair Phil McFadden, Secretary Steve Jazz, and Treasurer Marlene Hildebrand. The various subcommittees and liaisons for the events and activities were discussed and dates determined. A trip to the flower show is being sponsored on March the 5th. Registration is available online. Tickets are $40 and there's only 5 seats left.
Wow.
If anyone's interested. The seniors met on January 14th at the firehouse. The officers are Linda Wide, President, Treasurer Judy Fulton, and I am the Vice President and the Secretary. The guest speaker was Shelley Monachico. She spoke about gratitude, and she went around the room and asked each member to express a specific thing or event that they were grateful for. And it was an uplifting exercise. She explained how to turn a negative vibe into a positive feeling, and members were encouraged to think positive and keep a journal of the things that they were grateful for each day. The next meeting is scheduled for February the 11th at the firehouse at 11:45. In the event of snow or ice, it's canceled. I'm sure they're not going to make phone calls. It will just be canceled. Sewer Authority met on January 14th here. The chairman is Tom Finan. The vice chair is Nancy Sear. The secretary is, I guess she's secretary treasurer, is Brandy Machernick. Stylex, they received their permit from DEP for the SIU, and they will not be discharging anything until March. 989 Coopertown Road, there's no change. They still have several items needed to be requested for the release of their performance bond. The trunk line project, the final payment has been made, and the last 2 payments were approved to sub-level installations for their work on the West Avenue pump station. We're still working on raising dissolved oxygen levels to comply with the permit by adding additional aerators. Operator's report is on file, and the next meeting will be held at Town Hall on February 11th at 6:30. The DISA Del Rib, the youth sports, they had an executive session on December the 3rd that I did not attend because I didn't think, since it was executive, that I should be attending. But anyway, their officers are the same this year, I believe, right, Karen?
Yes.
This winter, they had indoor soccer. They added indoor soccer, and they had 3 indoor soccer teams participating in the XL Sports World Indoor Soccer League, which I think that's really pretty neat. Basketball season is underway, and this year they held its first open gym experience that was amazing and enjoyed by our youth. They are accepting donations for a snack stand for basketball. Feel free to check out their website for a list of snacks and drinks. Registration is currently open for baseball, softball, and t-ball, and their next meeting is tomorrow night here at 7:30. I did complete the 2 courses that we needed to take for JIF, cybersecurity and the risk management seminar. Shade Tree met on January the 22nd. I was hoping to go to the school board meeting, but I'm going to have a conflict with Shade Tree since I'm their liaison this year. Their reorganization, John Brown was sworn in as chairman, Bill Matalevitz vice chair, and Jessica Husband as secretary. Requests for tree removal from residents at 207 and 211 Lilac, it's the same tree, and 208 Larchmont were continued to the February meeting. 1002nd Street, 2 cherry trees will be removed, and 29 Pennington, tree will be removed. Representative from Newton's Landing presented a list from the residents requesting 14 trees to be planted out of 70 trees that were removed. So the list and placement will be reviewed by our subcommittee for tree plantings. The board reviewed the latest list that was distributed to the members. Some items on the list will be verified that the trees have already been removed or trimmed. And I did introduce a packet I received from a seminar, PSC&G, Right Tree, Right Place. Jessica scanned that and forwarded a copy of it to the members of the board. We went over that list item by item, so eventually we will have an updated list that I will share with the members of the Township Committee. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Thank you for that in-depth report on the shade tree. I think it's important we all stay up to date with that. We know it's an important issue to our residents, and we never really got any report, unfortunately, last year or the previous year, so I look forward to that every month.
Good.
Okay, what did I do this month? Let's see. January 7th, I attended the Joint Land Use Board reorganization meeting. The new chair is Tom Lord, and the vice chair is Carl Tarashi. We did accept the resignation of Lori Van Genderen after, I believe, 29 years as a member and chair, so thank you to Lori for her decades of service to the board. She did a great job, and we're sorry to see her go. We had an application on the agenda for 1000 Creek Road, which is the Fred Kennedy property at the end of town there. They asked for a postponement, so that will be heard at our next meeting next week on the 4th. We also will have the Delanco Auto on that night as well, their application, as long as everything is good with their notices. We had a meeting on January 8th. I met with a roofer engineer and Harry as well with the RI to go over the roof condition at the building. It's about 20 years old now, and we've known there's been plenty of roof leaks over the years. So we did an in-depth analysis of the conditions. We went up in the attic and on the roof, and I say we, including myself, went up there to take a look at everything. It's not in terrible shape, but it is showing signs of cracking and distress, and we have some issues with icing, and that's what happens towards the gutters. You have some leaking coming in there. So they did point out all the concerns, and they were supposed to get us an estimate so we can start planning to have that replaced in our capital budget. And also that same day, I met with Scott Taylor and Al Gravov from Recreation, as well as I think Janice or Richard was in that meeting to go over the waterfront park status, go over the plans in depth, figure out, the layout as far as where the gazebo is going to go, which really is a pavilion, by the way. We had to adjust kind of the placement due to the angle of the walls. We had to figure out where the steps were going to go, the ramps were going to go. So it was a very detailed meeting. Because we are coming up on our deadline to advertise for bids at the end of the month here. So they're diligently working on that, and I spoke with them last week, and they're still on track for that. They know we really have a strict deadline, and they're doing a great job to make sure everything is coming together. They don't want to suffer the wrath of me. So that's moving along. January 9th, we had a facilities meeting prior to the recreation meeting to go over the contracts with the different organizations. I was there as far as Del Rive is concerned, to go over the facilities charges for the different organizations using our field. Let's see. January 15th, I met with D&D HVAC to go over our HVAC situation in the township building. We have 5 units, and 2 of the air conditioning handlers need to be replaced. Met with them to go over exactly what is needed to make sure we are not just dumping money into an old unit, and to get some ideas of what it would cost for capital planning to replace those 2 units and how soon we need to do that. And we went over in depth what the new units are going to look like. The old refrigerant is no longer being used, the 410A, and they're now switching it over to ATL. And those units are just being manufactured now, so I suggested that we not be test dummies on that and maybe wait a year and see what that comes up to be as far as costs. So we are going to look to get some costs on that so we can add that to our capital planning as well. Okay, January 21st, I had a subcommittee meeting with the Joint Land Use Board to go over RFPs for the traffic engineer. I attended the Board of Ed meeting on the 22nd, along with a few other committee members here. And that brings us to today, and I look forward to our budget work session tomorrow. And then Wednesday at 3:30, Matt and I have a public works subcommittee meeting. And Thursday the 30th, we're meeting with Pannoni to go over the traffic study. And if you'd like to attend, you can.
What time is it?
It's at 5.
Okay.
We're going to go over the traffic study. They submitted a draft to us, and we had some questions and some concerns that we would like to address. So the subcommittee from the Joint Land Use Board is meeting with them to go over that traffic study. So hopefully in the next meeting or 2, we'll have some kind of report to share with the entire committee and the public as well. So that's all I have. Anybody have any other additional comments or questions after the reports?
One thing, Kate, in the shade tree, did they mention, or was it discussed about that tree that seemed to be in error removed on 3rd and
Oh, yeah, 3rd and
Union?
Union. Lewandowski.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was mentioned, and they suggested that we review the bill and not pay it, and I told them that the problem was that it wasn't removed from the list, and they went back and cut it down, because one was removed and one
Right.
wasn't. So that's going to go to the
Planting? Okay.
the planning committee, but I really want to reach out to Lewandowski's myself, and I haven't done that yet.
Okay.
So it wasn't the tree company's fault. It was not.
I don't think so, and I don't think that unless you know for sure that you can not pay a bill for something that they were told to cut down.
Right.
Right.
And so it was a directive that was given from the township, as far as I understand, because it was still on the list. And that's why that list is so important. So I asked for them to go over it item by item, and we did.
When Matt told me about that, I had suggested, and I think this is something we should do going forward, is to mark these trees with the big X in spray paint.
They do mark them.
They do? So
Yeah.
how would that happen?
I don't know. Apparently somebody, a resident marked their own tree that they wanted down too, and that didn't come down though, because they didn't mark it in the right place. But yeah, they do mark the trees, so, maybe it was inadvertently marked.
Yeah.
I don't know, but not knowing
Don't
all
get
the
any ideas,
details, you can't just hold back a payment.
No,
No.
certainly
He
cannot.
went according to a list he had, and.
Sure.
Don't want to burn our bridge with our tree company either. so.
Exactly, no, they're doing a great job.
Anyone else? Okay, moving on to consent agenda items. Consent agenda items are considered to be routine and will be enacted with a single motion. Any items requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda. All consent agenda items will be reflected in the minutes in full. Does anyone have anything they wish to remove from the agenda?
No.
Okay, Resolution 2025-32, resolution committing to DCA's 4th round affordable housing present need and prospective need numbers. Resolution 2025-33, resolution certifying liens against certain properties for costs incurred by the township in accordance with Chapter 135 of the Township Code. Resolution 2025-34, authorizing 1 handicap parking space on Walter Avenue for 320A Walter Avenue. Resolution 2025-35, authorizing the purchase and installation of a pavilion/gazebo shelter, including all related equipment, hardware, and concrete work under state cooperative purchasing contracts. Payment of bills, account, current fund, $755,032.30. Payroll, $104,296.48. Capital fund, $5,051.15. Escrow trust, $1,405. Housing trust, $4,740.87. And municipal open space, $9,528.45. Excuse me. Approval of consent agenda. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Matt, second by Kate. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bartlett.
Yes.
Ms. Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Mr. McFadden.
Yes.
Mr. Olet.
Yes.
Ms. Seuss.
Yes, thank you. Any correspondence?
No, nothing to report at this time.
Thank you. Meeting is open to the public for comments and questions. This is session 2. Please come up to the podium and state your name and address, please. Nothing, Ray? Not
No.
a single complaint, huh? Okay. Anyone else? And you don't complain, it's just comments. Meeting is closed to the public for session 2. Discussion items. We have the proposed community cat ordinance, AKA TNR. They will be coming to our next meeting to speak about this, but I just wanted to put this on for discussion tonight so we could take a look at it in the meantime. And we are going to have our professionals put this format that they gave us into our ordinance format to better make it uniform so we can understand it a little better and make sure it is legal, how we have it.
Right.
So if you guys just want to take a look at that, and we'll get that over to the professionals so we have something for our meeting on the 4th, I believe.
The only thing in reviewing.
3rd, thank you.
The only thing that I had was, I guess, cost and budgeting amounts.
Yeah, that's why we're doing that now too, so we can put that in our budget if we have to. So we can address that.
And this is the same group that came
Yes.
before
Yes.
last year or the year before?
Yeah, they reached out again.
I know you're talking about the
Wendy?
Yeah,
was
she's
with
been
them.
reaching out to me
Forget her last
for
name.
a year now, and so I did talk to her. Actually, I've been emailing her back and forth, and when she sent this, it's an updated version than what we had originally. I think we had this on the agenda last year, but we do have someone in town who has been doing a lot of this on her own, just the trap, neuter, and return. And what's happened is we find some of these cats really aren't feral, and they're able to go to a rescue and find a home, which is really a nice thing. But anyway, Ann will present it again. It is definitely something that you should do in your community, because it will keep the number of cats down by having a trap, neuter, and return program, rather than having cats constantly having litters. I mean, a cat can have 3-4 litters a year. So by doing this, it will eliminate that, and it'll be much nicer for the residents. And if you want to take care of them, you can take care of them, but at least let's do this and put it on the books so that we are a community that is doing this. It's better than having the officer who may be called to take a cat in or something, they euthanize it. And it just seems cruel to just euthanize a cat. It doesn't stop the population by killing one cat. One cat can have 5 kittens, and then a month later, she can have 5 more kittens. So this is really a good, maybe not a month, maybe 2 months.
Yeah, 2 months.
But it's, yeah. But anyway, so Ann's coming back next month on February 3rd. So if you have any questions or what have you, have them prepared. And there are members of the public that I will definitely invite that are in favor of this program. I think you should hear from them too.
Great, thank you. Anyone else?
No.
Okay. Next up, snow removal requirements regarding our ordinance. So, we have this ordinance on the books, right? They have this duty to remove snow from sidewalks within 12 hours of daylight after the last flake has fallen. So you're not supposed to put snow in the street. You're not supposed to blow back in there. But the biggest issue is, how do we enforce it, and what kind of violations do we have, and penalties? So we issue a violation, send out a letter. They have 10 days to cure it. What's the
It's
point of
melted
that?
by that
It's
time.
melted by then. So I would like to look into, I'd like to have a subcommittee formed to look into other towns' ordinances and kind of what we can do to tighten this up. We've had some serious issues with residents not clearing sidewalks, especially on Burlington Avenue, Coopertown Road, where you have a lot of foot traffic with kids walking to school, or residents or employees going to businesses from the river line, and it's a dangerous situation. You have kids walking in the street, or, slipping. It's a problem. So I want to have this looked at so we can see if there's anything we can do to tighten that up a little bit.
I guess it sounds like Ed is frustrated that he can't do anything to enforce it, our code enforcement officer, besides sending a letter.
Yeah, that's basically
Yeah.
how I got to this point.
Yeah.
Because I said to him, what can we do? Why are we not issuing violations? And he kind of just told me that they have 10 days to cure. By the time they get to court, the snow is long gone, so.
So would Ed be a part of that subcommittee, I would think, since he has experience dealing with another municipality?
Sure. Anybody want to volunteer to take that on? Don't all jump at
Sure.
once.
I guess I could do that. I could do it if you know.
Matt and Kate,
Yeah.
perfect. Appreciate that.
Better than getting voluntold.
I was going to suggest you. Okay, and we will also be looking into the abandoned vehicle policy as well. If you guys, do you want to take that on as part of this, since it's going to be with that anyway?
We did do that a few years ago. Were
Yeah.
you on committee when we did that? We were doing something because we had so many that we had to tighten something up with, it was a different code enforcement official, and I think it was Tom Casey, or somebody even prior to him.
I can't remember.
But
Yeah.
that's something that we should maybe do it together.
We might as well just, while we're reviewing the town's ordinance for one thing, do
Yeah.
that.
And that's what helps us, when we have someone who's worked in other areas and he's used to doing it, he can tell us what he really needs in order to enforce it, and that helps.
Could you be on that as well?
Sure.
Thanks. So you'll just let Baz know and Ed know, and you guys can just schedule a meeting and go from there.
Could John be on this snow removal?
Fenimore?
No?
Maybe Kenny,
Yeah, maybe Kenny. Yeah, I was going to say maybe Kenny.
Shedeker. Kenny Shedeker.
Okay. Because there's parking issues?
I mean, maybe once you get to that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if he needs to come in the beginning, but,
Okay.
because it's more about
It's more about the residents
residents. I mean, the only reason Public Works gets involved is when you snow blow into the street. And that's really when the police have to then issue a citation. So Public Works would notify the police department, right? That's how that chain of command works usually, or?
Historically, no. They'll just handle it, to be honest with you. It's just their whole means is to get the street clear.
Okay.
So if they encounter it, they just plow it
Just allow it.
They
and
just-
and
okay.
get back
There's
to,
no, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no time for summons.
Yeah.
You
Right.
have to plow it because it's in the street.
exactly.
so-
And then there's asking us to assist with finding the streets that, are the worst compared to others.
Yeah,
But for the most part, they just get it done.
okay.
Yeah. One complaint that I did have from Kenny and
Bobby?
from Bobby last week was whoever is responsible for snow removal at 801 Burlington Avenue, they removed the snow from 801 and pushed it across Burlington Avenue and left it in front of some of the residences there. So I got to figure out who their landscaping company is and advise them, you can't remove the snow from that property.
Oh, that's
And-
Camp Meeting Grounds, 801?
Yeah. So apparently it's going to cross the street in front of the 7-Eleven
Yeah.
and put it, so they wound up plowing it after the fact. When Bobby said when he got to it, it was overnight, so it froze over pretty good, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got to figure out who their landscaping company is and advise them. to
We
not-
also emailed that company
You did?
because did a crap job and it was an icy
It
mess.
was one of the problems too, before they plowed, the parking lot, but then remove any of the snow on the sidewalk.
Right.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
they're responsible for everything. Yeah.
It's like it's never snowed before and they've never done this.
Only 3 inches.
I mean, last year we had the same issues with them with,
Yes.
you know, plowing all the snow into the handicap spaces,
Mhm.
which I don't know who thought that was a great idea.
You know, common sense, not so common.
Amen.
Anybody else have anything they want to discuss? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
I have nothing.
No resolution for executive. We already did that. Motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. 45 minutes, not bad.